Hello and welcome to KGW News at 5 o'clock on this Wednesday. Wow, what a day. Take a live look outside and summer-like weather has returned again with temperatures in the 80s. The Stoller Vineyards here. Matt's going to tell us how long it's going to last just a little bit later. It is so inviting to get outside, especially since more counties are starting to reopen. And as we'll hear in just a moment, Multnomah County is finally giving us some dates when it will open. But as we try to get some sense of normalcy back, a friendly reminder, although we've flattened the curve, the virus is still out there. And from what we've heard from those who have had it, people who are healthy and active, they say you don't want it. So keep doing what you've been doing. Keep your physical distance, wear a mask, and stay safe. And we will get through this pandemic together. Now here's what's topping our news on this Wednesday, May 27th. Tens of thousands of Oregonians are still waiting to get unemployment checks. Today, the director of the state's employment department testified to legislators about the response to the crisis. Morgan Romero listened in and she joins us live with the takeaways. Morgan.
Hey, Laurel, right now, 38,000 Oregonians are still waiting for their unemployment claims to get processed. We're hearing from a lot of people complaining that they can't even get through to the employment department on the phone. So since the first time since the crisis began, we're hearing from the department's director.
Like unemployment agencies across the nation, we were not ready for the incredible and unprecedented workload we encountered over the last several weeks. To our customers, I know in these uncertain times, waiting for confirmation of your unemployment benefits can be agonizing. For the thousands of Oregonians who are still waiting, I do apologize.
I learned today 402,000 Oregonians have filed for unemployment in the span of just 2 months after historically low unemployment in the state. Erickson and David Gerstenfeld, also with OED, said the state has processed 91% of all claims so far, but obviously there's still work to do.
The additional programs has added layers and layers of complexity, and we're asking people who have worked for us for just weeks to be able to quickly navigate those systems.
OED unveiled a new strategy called Project Focus 100. The goal, process those 38,000 backlogged claims ASAP to get Oregonians the help they need. It plans to, 1, continue hiring more staff to process those claims quicker, have the most experienced workers focus on the oldest and most complicated claims, communicate about the status of people's claims more frequently, use technology to improve and speed up service. The employment department went over a lot of information in that meeting. In fact, the committee didn't even have time to ask any questions live. So they're asking lawmakers to send questions to OED this week and then await answers hopefully by Friday. Meanwhile, the House Republican caucus sent us a statement saying that they were frustrated lawmakers didn't get to ask those questions, like how did we, quote, end up in this mess, and what took the employment department so long to respond to all of this. They said that the state has failed Oregonians miserably, Laurel.
A lot of people have a lot of questions about that. Thank you, Morgan Romero, live for us. And now to Multnomah County. The county says it hopes to open again under new coronavirus restrictions in 2 weeks. County Chair Deborah Kafoury made the announcement today. It comes as businesses in the area wait and try to stay afloat. KGW's Pat Doris reports.
With 813,000 people, Multnomah County is the most populated in Oregon. It will also be the last to apply for reopening in this new coronavirus age.
We believe that Multnomah County will be ready to turn in our application to reopen on June 5th. On June 10th, we'll evaluate any developments in the dashboard, and if all trends continue to be positive, we will, with state approval, move to phase 1 reopening on Friday, June the 12th.
The county said it's met all the governor's metrics except one. It only has about half the contact tracers in place that are required. But other counties have applied with as little as a third of the tracers needed in place. Multnomah County will not. The head of the Portland Business Alliance, the Chamber of Commerce for the area, said his members want the county to get this right and would not criticize the time it's taking. Still, it is hard.
And there's got to be some business owners who are saying, you are killing me. Get this economy going again.
You know, that is actually, they're not just saying that. That's happening. Businesses are closing. We're seeing it in real time. We're seeing the loss of some great institutions, some great businesses, things that people know and love and cherish, restaurants, dining facilities, hospitality. That's real. It's happening. That is a consequence of the choices we have made.
Chair Kafoury said she understands that many want to open now.
Many people are more than ready to reopen, but COVID is still out there. So it's important that we have all the steps in place to ensure that our community is safe.
And as you heard from Pat, one of the requirements to reopen is hiring a certain number of contact tracers. Those are the people who call everyone who is tested positive for COVID-19 and ask who they've been around recently. Then they call those people to warn them they may have been exposed. The goal is to try to stop the spread. In the past few weeks, counties have been flooded with applications. The Oregon Health Authority has received 4,000 alone.
We don't have an application mechanism out on our website because I've been overwhelmed with applications. I probably get 5 or 6 a day in my inbox that I haven't solicited, and as well as private companies offering to put these contact tracers in place for us.
But despite all the interest, Oregon's biggest counties are having trouble hiring and training enough people to fill those quotas set by the state. And in the case of Clackamas County, the governor let them reopen anyway. We dig into why that's happening tonight at 6 o'clock on The Story with Dan Haggerty. We have an update now on that outbreak at a Vancouver fruit company. 70 workers at Firestone Pacific have tested positive for COVID-19. 93 have tested negative. The CEO says the overwhelming majority of those who tested positive were not showing symptoms. He says the company started social distancing and good hygiene practices in early March and started doing temperature screenings of employees shortly after that. About a month later, they started requiring staff to wear face masks. They also opened up an outdoor area for breaks when it was harder to enforce social distancing. The CEO says they will be making sure the Clark County Health Department is okay with them reopening before they pick a date to do so. We've learned that Oregon education officials expect to have students back in the classroom in person by the fall. Things are still subject to change, but they hope to have a plan out by early June. Oregon Department of Education Director Colt Gill told the Malheur Enterprise newspaper he expects school buildings to open in most cases. He says some schools may have to continue distance learning if infection levels remain high in their communities. And schools that do open may need to do a blend of in-class and distance learning because of staff shortages and the need for smaller class sizes. Right now, the big challenges for schools are figuring out staffing and social distancing on school buses. Restaurants and other businesses in Portland have suffered during the pandemic, with some permanently shutting down. But the city of Portland has come up with a way to try to help them. Christine Pitawanich looked into the city's plans.
It has been a struggle to survive for many restaurants and businesses in the pandemic. Josh Johnston co-owns 8 bars and restaurants in Portland.
We laid off just about 200 people, including myself and my business partner.
All over the city, shops and restaurants either are boarded up.
We look outside, it's extremely sad to see all these businesses are completely closed.
Or trying to adapt.
For takeout, we're doing okay.
But even when Multnomah County starts to reopen, if restaurants have to operate at, say, half capacity, it'll still be tough to make ends meet.
Restaurants can't afford to survive on half of their revenue. They need every dollar they can get.
That's why the city of Portland has come up with the idea to let restaurants and businesses apply for permits that would allow them to expand into the street. You can see it illustrated here. Room for street seats and socially distant dining, a place to line up for busy grocery stores or markets, and loading zones for delivery and pickup. This all in a presentation the Portland Bureau of Transportation gave at a recent city budget meeting. Johnston supports the idea.
But it's really for the survival of the industry, because we have to find a way to put butts in seats to generate revenue.
And Portlanders we spoke with are also on board.
If there was somewhere that you could go to sit down and gather with people but still be distanced from them, I think that would be good. I would do it.
Especially with the warmer months coming up, I think that would be fun.
Hey, we need to weather the storm.
A spokesperson for City Commissioner Chloe Eudaly, who heads up PBOT, said in a statement in part, "Our plan considers open-air commerce as a whole, meaning we are designing a permit process that will allow not just restaurants, but bars, retail, and personal service businesses to access the right-of-way." Eudaly's spokesperson says there are no specific areas in mind. The plan is for businesses citywide. Starting Thursday, businesses can apply for a permit for free, but issuing them will be tied to the county's reopening timeline. The city plans to release more details about the plan on Thursday. Christine Pitawanich, KGW News.